So excited to have you here today. We're going to be going through the 3 keys to thrive during this pandemic where many people are quarantined. Life as we know it has changed. I mean, it's so amazing. Hello, Rhonda joining in. It's so amazing how fast things are changing. And with that, it requires a lot of flexibility. So I really want to be touching in more with the community as in these next couple weeks to give you tools to really move through this. So just some logistics. If you're calling in, I'm going to give you some instructions. If you're calling in on phone at any point in time, and you want to raise your hand to ask a question, this seminar, this little training is best serving you when we can interact, when we can interact as a community. It's really important to me to get your voices into this conversation. And so if you're calling in on phone and you want to raise your hand, you will dial *9 so that I'll be able to see that you're raising your hand. If you are calling in on love the thumbs up on the Facebook Livers, if you're participating via the computer, you'll see in the bottom section, it says participants. And so you would just click participants, and in that you can raise your hand. There's a function where you can raise your hand and you can mute yourself. So hopefully you can find that in the navigation. And we are recording this. Hello, I see Alexandra. Oh my gosh, all your beautiful faces. This is fantastic. This is also a chance for us to really, see one another and connect as a community. So whenever we can lean in and give each other high fives and raise one another up. And right now everyone's muted, but there will be a time when we'll unmute everyone to really join in. So before we really officially jump into the material, I like to start every gathering with some sacredness. I really believe ritual, especially during these times, is so important. It's ritual that gives us some structure and ability to kind of just be present. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to start off with a meditation. So I'm going to have everyone, we're going to close our eyes, turning inward, and let's just take some beautiful breath as a community. Breathing all the way down into your belly, noticing your feet on the ground. Bringing some mindfulness to your body, to your breath, as we join in community, sister to sister. We're going to start by setting what I call a grounding cord, which might be new for some of you. You can also think of it as roots of a tree. In your mind's eye, imagine that you are a beautiful, big, strong tree. And you're a tree in blossom right now. Imagine those beautiful colored flowers on your branches. Imagine whatever color you would want to express yourself through the essence of the flower. As your branches reach up to the heavens, catching light, feeling the wind, feeling the temperature. And now that you're connected as a tree, we're going to go down into your roots. During times like this, it is so important to ground. Feel your feet on the ground, maybe wiggle your toes. As you follow my voice, we're going to drop down into Mama Earth. And as you drop down deeper into the earth, imagine letting go and surrendering. Bring your breath with me down a foot into the earth, releasing, surrendering, letting go, 5 feet into the earth, 100 feet into the earth, releasing, surrendering, letting go. 300 feet into the earth, 1,000 feet into the earth, dropping down, feeling your shoulders drop down. Dropping down 2,000 feet into the earth. Feeling that nourishment, that depth, that anchoring. Dropping down 3,200 feet into the earth. 3,800 feet into the earth, releasing, surrendering, letting go of anything that is no longer serving you. Letting go of your fears, your worries, your concerns, especially during this pandemic. Imagine dropping down all the way down to the center of the earth. Breathe deeply into your roots. In your mind's eye, imagine a beautiful rock that you see into the center of the earth. Use any color that comes to mind. Maybe it's a purple rock, a pink rock, a red rock, whatever would feel grounding to you. Imagine that color rock or gem or crystal. Imagine these beautiful roots extending around the rock, grabbing the rock. As your roots anchor you, hold you solid. Tapping into that part of you that's unshakable. Feel that level of support. Beautiful. Breathing that deeply. And now I want you to imagine that you're in the forest. In the forest, and every tree is represented by each and every one of us, gathered in sisterhood. And I want you now to feel those roots going wide, feeling into the entanglement of your sisters as we are all connected. We can lean into the community. Our sisters make us stronger. Feeling into that level of support. Knowing that no matter what happens above ground, we are all connected. We are all anchored. We are all loved. And you are okay. Breathe that into your heart, bringing your hands up to your heart. Repeat after me. I am okay. I'm going to say it 3 times as you breathe into your heart. I am okay. One more time. I am okay. As you breathe into that heart space, connecting to your heart, to love, to compassion, to community. And when you're ready, you can release your hands. You can open your eyes, coming back into the room, wherever you are. We're gonna wave to some of our Facebookers. We've got Heather Collins, we've got Sheila, we got Rhonda. Woo-hoo! We're gonna unmute the line, and I want to hear a little woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Yeah. All right, ladies. Oh, glad to have you here. So, let's see. Yeah, some people are finding the mute as you're hearing the background. You are here with me in Boulder, Colorado. My daughter is home, and we're getting really creative to what you can do at home. So, let's do a little hello, Jen Snowden. Hey, ladies. All right. I'd love to start with just like a little check-in. Like, I want to know. Hello, Kayla. I want to know how you ladies are doing. I'm going to go ahead and unmute, and you can mute yourself again. But let's get some voices in the room. What's going on for you ladies? How are you doing during this time of like quarantine and all of that?
Being very creative.
Getting really creative. All right. Tell us what are some of the creative things that you're doing?
Well, I do t-shirts, so I've been working on my own business instead of somebody else's business.
Oh my God. Show us. Are there more?
Yes, there's
What's up, girl? I love it. What else you got? Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. All right, so you're going to need to, in the chat box, where can these ladies find these things?
So pretty. Oh,
I love that.
Can you share that?
Sure. I have a website that I posted all of them on last night.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, so
Do you ladies like some of these t-shirts or what? Raise your hand if you're like, yeah, hook me up. All right.
Yes. So I'll post the website in the chat.
I love it. Put the website in the chat and tell these ladies what your name is.
I'm Lynn and I live in St. Louis, Missouri.
Fantastic. All right. Got Lynn and she's got, if you're not watching on video and you're just listening in, you're going to want to check this out. Do you want to just call out your website so people who are just listening in?
Yes, it's LachelleRoyalService.com.
You want to spell that?
LychelleRoyalService.com.
All right. All right. Let's give up some support and some love. Yeah. All right. What else, ladies? What you got going on at home, wherever you are? Tell us where you're from and your name. So and if you're on video, like really look into the video. We want to see those gorgeous eyes. Everyone actually lean in. Let's see everybody's eyes. Good. Woo! All right. Who else wants to put their voice in the room of what's up for you? And you know what? If it's challenging, all emotions are welcome here.
I'll go.
Hi, Kate.
I'm Kate from Canada and Ontario. And I am taking this time to do some inward healing and really just like move my body every day and stick to a routine. And yeah, I feel really good.
You look fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so do you.
Thank you. Look at this woman shine. You gotta attract like light women that are just bright and vibrant. And I love your smile and so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us, do you want to share us one piece of your structure that might serve these women? Like what's one thing, just one, that you think is really helpful?
Yeah, one thing is getting up in the morning early. Today, Saturday was my day off. But normally during the week, I get up at 5:50 and I go straight to meditation and journal and reading.
Yay! So you're already tapping into some things we're going to talk about today. So you're happy bird.
Awesome.
Right on. Who else wants to put their voice in here?
Oh, I'll go, DrKelly.
Yeah, Alexandra. You want to tell us where you're calling in from?
Yeah, Queens, New York.
Queens, New York. So you're in quarantine, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was trying to be really, positive about it, but I'm starting to they're always on the news and it's, now my son's still going to work, so I'm a little worried about that, but I'm home, so, and I generally, a lot of times I work from home because I'm a realtor. Yeah. So I'm used to routine at home. I mean, I have an office I go to, so I'm used to 50-50. But in the morning I get up and I do my meditation, and now because the gyms are closed, I do half-hour yoga in the morning with a YouTube video.
Oh, I love it.
Anything, I try to do my spirituality in the morning. Sometimes I'll do tapping, sometimes I'll do journaling. and and then then I get work done, because even though now working, going out to meet clients is very limited. So now I work in my business in terms of like, there's always something I could be doing. And I try to break up my day, because then I work, and then I'll make a juice, or I'll clean a little or something, or go for a walk, because the weather is like 50s now. So
Nice.
get out a little.
Nice.
A meal, so the day, I can, I'm home alone a lot, just me and the dog, until my son comes home in the evening. So I mean, I'm staying put.
Awesome. Yeah. And yet,
Yes.
I'll tell you, Richard's like, my husband's like, who is this woman? I have talked about cleaning. Who else has done some cleaning since you've been in home?
Yeah, totally.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Yeah. Richard's like, who is this woman? Like, I'm getting in the lazy Susan and like pulling everything out and like scrubbing. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, there are like coffee beans from who knows how long in that lazy Susan. I'm telling you, ladies, like, my house is getting some cleaning in, and you know what? It helps me to feel like, when your environment is cleaner, it feels good.
It feels great.
It affects even people like me that I'm like, ooh, wow, I'll get to that someday. And all those things on the like lower priority, I'm getting to them. One more share. Who else wants to get their voice in this sisterhood?
What are you asking, Sheila?
You're calling me out.
Calling out.
Hi, sweetie. I miss you. Cleaning list.
Oh, damn.
Since Steve moved in a little over a year ago, there were just things in this house that I have been frustrated with. So I sat down yesterday and did my little list, and I'm going to do an hour or so a day on the cleaning list. I have an elliptical in the house that I never use. Got on it last night just for 10 minutes, but it's a start.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going good over here. So when the cleaning list runs out, I have lots of wedding decorations to play with. So I can up. I'm trying not to freak out, but as I was telling Kelly earlier, my fiance drives the public transportation trains, and this virus can last longer on metal, and he comes home every night, and I'm just a little more concerned about what he's bringing home than anything. Yeah. So it's been tough. It's been tough, but he's loving me doing all the cleaning and the cooking, and here I am. I'm bored.
Yeah.
I've only really been home for 3 days by myself.
Yeah.
I can work. My job, it is amazing to be a part of a company like Visa, because we're holding the economy together with everybody using their credit cards around the world. So still a go, and I'm up every morning at home, working from home.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, I was getting dissed at work for wanting to work from home too much. Now everybody's doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's things like this is fun. I'm trying to set up Zoom for some of my friends so we can once a week and just have the contact.
What a great idea. So for a lot of us that work from home, Zoom is like just a part of our daily lives, connecting with people. And now it's a platform that, like, if you're listening in and you're not used to Zoom, like, check it out. It's amazing. There's, while we might not be able to be physically together, we can use Zoom to be in community. So I really think it's a time to reach out to your loved ones, let them know how much you care. And there's nothing like seeing a face. So whether that's FaceTime or Google Hangouts but find a way to reach out, especially to those that are maybe single and alone right now during this time. They need women and men and kids, like it's time to find creative ways to connect. Hello, Harriet Shade. Oh my gosh, so good to see you. Harriet and I went to high school together, and I've not seen her, so yeah, I love it. See, how awesome is this? Like, you just take a stake and bring people together, and you never know who's going to show up. It looks like Andrea put in the chat box. The chat box is starting help out here. She says, hi, everyone. I have 2 crazy kids running around behind me, but I wanted to send love to all of you and share that my boys and I are co-creating a routine for our upcoming week that includes distance learning for my oldest. And today we're adopting a cat. Fantastic, Andrea. Oh my gosh, appreciate this connection. Yeah, the animals. You know, when this all came down, my mom is one of those people that's like always like ahead of stuff, whether it's the new, you know, like weather or I don't know, that's just like, she's on it. And she told me like 3 weeks ago, she's like, honey, I think it's going to be a problem. You know, make sure your animals have food for a couple months. And I'm going, like, come on. And now it's like, it's slowly catching up. So the animals need our love too. Charity shares, good morning, ladies. Here in my car watching you from Las Vegas with my 96-year-old mom. Oh my gosh. Wow, Charity. So glad you put your voice into the room. Yeah. The older population, you know, it's like they're more at risk. So if you do have if you're you know, you've got older parents or whatever, like I have friends like supposedly, you know, to choose who you're going to hang with, you know, so that like we're doing virtual play dates with our kids right now, right? It really is time for us to really, you know, stay at home. And if you have older parents, be mindful if you're the one going out, you know, to really take care of older parents and grandparents. I've got a 96-year-old grandmother that my dad normally goes and sees not every day, but you know, every couple days. She's more upset, not so much about the virus. She's not getting her donuts or whatever on a stick. Like grandma's upset about that. So we're all getting used to change. Hello, Francis. Oh my gosh, so awesome to see you. All right, ladies. So let's dive into what I have for you today. And what I want to share is really, you know, to thrive in this time. Many of whom were quarantined or were self-quarantined. There are 3 things. There are 3 keys, many of which some people have already touched on. It's not rocket science, but I have gone in and out of being committed to these 3 things in my life. And I'll tell you, when I'm really thriving, I look back and I'm all about these 3 things. So we're going to cover these 3 things today. And the first one might not surprise you because we started with it today. The first thing is meditation. Now, I'm curious, by those that are listening, hey, Karen, Doris watching. By those that are listening or on the video, and if you're on the video and you can make your face live, like we love to see you, it makes it like really real. How many of you have some type of meditation or prayer practice? Yep, I'm seeing some hands raised. If you're on the phone calling in, you know, you can also let us know. It's so important. It's so important to have a meditation practice or a prayer practice. And here's the deal, women, there's no right way to do it. There really isn't. There's not like a right way or a wrong way. And there are so many ways that you can get connected in meditation and finding new ways. So I'm going to tell you how I started meditating, how meditation became a thing for me. It actually started in my early 20s. And I was 23, and many of you have read my book. And I went on this like trip, which ended up being a trip around the world. And I was in Nepal, and I was just guided, you know, in Nepal. I was high in the mountains in a place called Annapurna Base Camp, and I was surrounded by mountains, and it was absolutely gorgeous. But here's the deal: it started to snow. And it snowed some more, and it snowed some more. And we were in like blizzard conditions. And you have to imagine I'm in like this little, I guess you would call it like a little guest house or something. And every day it was snowing so much, like you would try to go, I guess you would call it, yeah, like a guest house. And there were probably, 10 people or so that were staying in this place. And we were several thousand feet up the mountain, and it was snowing so much that when you would go to open the door wouldn't open because the snow would have accumulated. So you'd have to wait to get out of your little room. You'd hear the scraping in the middle, in the middle of the night or bright and early in the morning. And you knew once the scraping, hello, Holly, once they were done scraping, you could actually get out of the room. And we would spend our days in this single room with a picnic table and blankets covering the picnic table. And there were little, hello, I love the thumbs and the hearts if you're on Facebook Live. So we would gather on this picnic table, and there was nothing that we could do because it was several days of snowing and snowing and snowing and snowing, and kind of like being quarantined. And just for a funny story, I can remember at one point I smelled something like, smells like something's burning. And they have these little like heaters under the picnic table. And you have to remember, like we're in Nepal, right? Hey, Nick, oh my gosh, all these people, Keisha. Hello, Keisha. And we smell something's burning. And people are like, what's going on? And we look and the smoke starts coming out from under the picnic table. And basically someone's, mine, and I'm starting to feel some heat. My sock was on fire. And it was like, we're like, oh my gosh, and I'm freaking out and trying to get the sock off and everything. And, it's like, that was my first real experience of being like quarantined and isolated. And so anyway, I caught my sock on fire, and then I start wondering, like in America, would we ever have like burners underneath? Think about it, a picnic table with a blanket, like not so smart, but they were just trying to work with what we had. So anyway, I would start my mornings with meditation, and I had no idea what meditation was. All I knew is here I was, a 23-year-old young person, and I'm in a foreign country, and I started hearing like avalanches. Like I didn't know if I'd make it out. And so I figured, no, it's time to pray. It's time to really get centered. And so what I started to do is start every morning meditating. I didn't know what to do or how to do it. And I literally would just sit there and just notice my breath coming in and out. And that's really a great place to start if you've never done meditation. Now know that your mind's going to go elsewhere, like totally normal. I've heard people say, they think that they're bad at meditation, and you can't be bad at meditation. There's nothing, there are no grades in meditation. So that's how I started. Because I was, quote, quarantined at the Annapurna base camp with nothing to do for, every day. The hours would just go by. It was snowing and snowing. I think I forget. I don't want to give you wrong quotes, but I'd have to look at my journal. But several feet of snow. And then once it stopped snowing, there was so much snow that it was not advised for us to walk back down the mountain. In fact, during this time, hello, Rachel, during this time, there were whole villages that were wiped out by avalanches. And once the sun came out, then the snow was heating up, and literally I was surrounded by avalanche. And if you've never heard an avalanche, it's like, it's so loud, and the wind comes, and we would see these avalanches from all around. So once the sun came out and the storm was gone, I still relied on meditation to keep my sanity because the snow was so deep. We didn't have technical gear. How was I going to make my way down? And so once the storm broke, I literally was going outside, and I would sit on these mountaintops and mountains all around me. And all I knew to do was just to breathe in and out, and in and out. And you can do that. Who can just breathe in and out? Can anyone? Whew. Right? So I'm going to add a little bit of peace here to help you. So in breathing in and out, one technique I learned years ago was that if you imagine your thoughts like on a chalkboard, like here's what's crazy. Kids don't have chalkboards in their classrooms anymore. That's what we all grew up with, like the chalkboard. I asked my daughter the other day, I was like, do you have a chalkboard? She's like, no. I was like, that's so weird. Yeah. So anyway, I want you to imagine when those thoughts come out, imagine you have a piece of chalk, and just write whatever it is in your mind's eye. If the thought came up like, oh my gosh, whatever, often it's random thoughts. Did I feed the cats today? You know, you're like, why is that coming up, right? So literally thought form comes up, and your only job as you're just breathing in and out, that's the only thing, is just take, in your mind's eye, take the chalk and write, did I feed the cats? Then take a big old eraser and erase it, and then come back to your breath. It's almost like you give your mind the opportunity, you acknowledge what's coming up for you. And it also helps you to practice like you're not doing this wrong, right? So that's a very simple form. It's one of the simplest forms, I think, to really help you with meditation. And it's a very simple practice. So that's something you can do, all right? My mornings start every morning with meditation. And during these challenging times, it's really important that we take the time to turn inward, because here's the other thing that is a benefit of meditation. Not only does it calm you, but you might have flashes of insight. And that creativity we talked about on Transformational Tuesday earlier this past Tuesday is like brilliance can spark, right? If we just give the mind a moment to return to the breath. And it does bring peace. It really, really does. It's one of the best things that you can do for yourself. So I really want to encourage you, start every day with meditation. And now, you know, people say, I don't have the time. They've said, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to meditate. You know what? You have time now because you're at home, right? And so I know some people practicing meditation like 3 times a day, like they're really up in it. So I'm really going to encourage you to meditate. Take the time to meditate. Sheila just shared, she said, presently is a gratitude app you can download and each say what you're grateful for that day. It's been helping me a lot. I love it. Any resources you ladies have, you can go ahead and you can put in the chat box. I have a favorite, and it's called the Insight Timer. And the Insight Timer is free. And I will tell you, here's what I love about it. You can just do it as a timer. You can just do music in the background. If you choose to pay, you can pay a one-time fee for a full year, and you can access, I forget how many thousands of meditation teachers and practices. And they're like famous people, you know, famous meaning famous in the meditation and mindfulness sphere. One of my favorites, I'd love to turn you ladies on to it, ladies and men, because we got Nick on, is her name is Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, Sarah Blondin, B-L-O-N-D-I-N. Actually, I'll put it right here in the chat box. I'll go ahead and share this with you. She is one of my favorites. And here's what I love. She does meditation very differently. She's like this amazing poet, and her ability to use words to really create peace is spectacular. So she reads poetry, and I don't know if she's playing the piano, but there's piano music in the background. She just released a new meditation that I listened to this morning, and it's around calming your fears, right? Especially during these times. So if you go to Insight Timer, she's one of the first people to come up because she just launched that probably within the past 24 hours or so, or 48 hours. She's one of my favorites, and it's just a different kind of meditation. So maybe you're getting bored with your routine. Check out Sarah Blondin, and she's got another one that I totally love, and you can search for it, and it's called Accepting Change. Accepting Change. So that's on the Insight Timer. So we got number 1, okay? But before I go on number 2 and number 3, I would love to hear from, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mute all and see if there's anyone that needs some coaching around meditation or challenges that you're having, or anything that I might be able to coach you on or help you on around challenges that you're maybe having around meditation and making it a daily practice. Also, Sheila said, if you have kids, Audible has lots of free audiobooks right now. That's a fantastic resource too. All right. So anyone having challenges or historically had challenges or don't know how to meditate, or I am here to help. Anyone? Anyone? You guys are all good with this? I love it. I'm gonna just check and see some faces, make sure, see if there's anyone raising their hand that I can't see. All right, you ladies are doing well. Fantastic. Okay, so before I go into number 2 and number 3, I want to review something that is so important. And that is, okay, in times of uncertainty, it's important to be able to discover where certainty lies. There are certain things that you are in control of no matter what is going on out there. Okay? So we've got the sphere in the middle, and this is what you are in control of. This is the control sphere. Okay? Everything else outside of this circle is outside of your control. Where do you think most people are stressed, or they amp up their stress? Do you think it's in the sphere of control or outside? This is out of control. Okay? Here's what I know. Is most people amp up their stress because they're trying to control things outside of their control. How crazy is that? And yet I know so many of us are doing it right now. Why? It's because there's so much out of our control right now. So what's the trick? The trick is to get back into the things that are in your control. People, you are so much more powerful than you can imagine. And during times, especially during times when so much is out of our control, it is an opportunity for you to remember what is in your control. So I'm going to unmute the line. This is where we get participation. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute all. And here's what I want to do. I want to start brainstorming. This might seem so simple, but I want to start brainstorming what are some things that are in your control. And maybe you've not necessarily owned it, and maybe you have. So I know for the people on Facebook Live, you can't participate live, but you know what? I'll be sharing what other men are sharing. So let's get your voices in the room, ladies. What is 100% in your control? Right here, right now, always.
How you respond.
Yes! How do you respond?
So extra.
You know? So it's like, oh yeah, we're going to shut down all of your city. And so many of you are like, I mean, obviously this is new. This is new territory. It's territory for us to get flexible and learn. But the thing that is 100% in your control is how you respond. This is how people in like some of the hardest of times have made it through, have strengthened their resiliency, is because they remind themselves that they always have control over how they respond. What else are you in control of? Hello, Alicia. On Facebook Live. What else are you in control of? Get your voices in the room. Come on, ladies.
Your voice.
Your voice. Yeah. Yeah, tell me more. When you think about your voice. Tell me more what comes up for you when you think about that.
I use, for example, what you're doing today, you know, encouraging others, putting your voice out there, a positive voice, like you talked about, starting with the meditation and prayer, and, you know, just being creative on how we use our voice.
Yeah.
Today, I'm away from my family. So most of my family is in Houston, Texas. I live in St. Louis. So I did FaceTime calls because instead of speaking to them, I wanted to see them today.
Oh, beautiful. I love it. So I'm also going to put it here because especially during this time, you are in control of reaching out, right?
Right.
So your voice, like put your voice, right? And be a positive voice, right? We have plenty of negative voices out there, don't we, ladies? In fact, that's the majority right now. So I'm going to encourage you, go the other way. Go the other way. Our world needs uplifting, inspiring voices right now. And so where your energy goes, where your focus goes, the energy flows. So if you're focused on, if you're just listening to the news all the time, I know you are surrounding yourself with a lot of toxic, negative energy. So you always have control over it. Be that positive voice, right? So I'm also going to put in here outreach. That outreach can be phone. That outreach could be, you know, getting on the computer. That outreach could be, you know, it could be anything. It could look like anything. It could be jumping on Facebook. Maybe you all will jump on Facebook Live and speak out to your community and be that positive voice. All right. What else? Voices in the room. What else are you in control of?
How about like really doing some, you know, really inner soul searching, really get in a moment to really like stop, the world has stopped, and really do some serious soul searching.
Soul searching. So stop and soul, absolutely.
And I also think like getting things done at home that you've been putting off for years, you know? I mean, yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. So
Yeah,
we're going to put in here, you're in control of like your to-do list, said differently, right? And maybe the things that you can put off, you know, yeah, let them rise to the top, because here are the two things that I hear as a coach all the time, the two things that people say they don't have enough of. What do you think they are? Two things.
time.
And
energy.
Energy I hear a lot. What do you think the one I hear a little bit more than energy?
Money.
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 Time, money. Time, money. Time, money.
Yes.
Think about yourself in the past, and you've made excuses for yourself. Energy is definitely, if I had a top three, I'd have to put in, you know, energy. So that's a good one. So for many of you, time's not an excuse anymore. Like the universe has gifted us with some more time. Okay. So I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
What am I going to put here? I've already lost my train of thought.
Use your time wisely.
Yeah, your time wisely. Time, I'm just gonna put time wisely. Couple more, let's come up with three more things. Here's one that came in from Facebook Live. Alicia says, you have control, you can help, you help control your children's perspective on this. Raise your hand if you've got kids. I'm just kind of curious, right? We do have an opportunity to influence. Now, here's what's fascinating. A lot of parents, this is great for anyone. This is great for anyone in leadership. If you're a parent, you're a leader, right? Like we are all leaders in our community. Oh, my power is low on my phone. Ladies, give me a moment. I'm gonna go get the charger because the women and men that are on Facebook Live, I don't wanna lose them. So I'm gonna go get a charger, come back, and while I go and do that, I want you to write down wherever you are, three things that are in your control right now that maybe you're not taking advantage of. I'll be right back. Let's get this going. I love that, Alicia. So going back to your kids and what their perspective, helping to influence them. So here's the word, influence, not control. And I love this. And there's a big distinction here, is that there are people in your life that you would love to influence, right? This could be your partner. This could be a family member. This could be your child. This could be your coworker. This could be your boss. It can be anyone. And many people come from the place, especially parents, controlling your children. Can you just control your child? Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Is that if you think you can control people, that's outside of the sphere. And we get stressed out when we think we control people. We can control our children. Here's the word. It's not control. It's influence. That's what I want you to become masters of, is your ability to speak your truth and influence people. Influence people in a positive way. Influence people to do the right thing. Influence your children to have a positive perspective. But here's where we struggle, is when we struggle is when we try to control people outside of us, or other people, people outside of us. That sounds crazy, but here's what I'm saying. If you think you can, if you're trying to control outside of the sphere, and one of those things you're trying to control people, I know long-term you're going to struggle, but you can master influencing, right? Because that's something, and I'm going to write here, influence is something you always have control over. So what arose right there is the distinction between influence versus control. And whenever you try to control people, you'll eventually, if not now, you will struggle. You will struggle. Nobody wants to be controlled, right? All right. Let's explore, and then we will circle back to the two other things, but they're not, the three things, the three keys. We've done one, meditation. I've got two more for you. But if you don't get this, then you won't implement the other two, which is why we needed to cover this, okay? What are some things outside of your control that, if we're really straight up, you stress about? And yet it's totally outside of your control. Okay, I'm gonna unmute everyone again, just because it's easier. What are some of the things that are outside of your control, but you stress about it, and you try to control it? Or you wish you could control it?
People communicating with you.
Yeah.
As opposed to you always reaching out to everyone.
Right. So it's like people, and part of that, the sphere is their communication. Okay. Let's circle back. A lot of women in our community are single, and they're dating, but this could also fall in line with family members, friends. Right? You can't control whether or not, you throw the communication out there. Like, here's my text, here's my email. You can't control whether it comes back to you. Fantastic. Fantastic. What else do we want to control outside of us, but really it's outside of us? What else is outside of our sphere of control? And if you're on Facebook Live, you can go ahead. I can see your chat line, so you guys can participate too. Come on, ladies, because this is so important for us to get this piece. Is what's outside of your control. And we don't like to admit it. I'll tell you one thing. It seems so silly, but I've heard people stress about it. Weather. Totally outside of your control. Okay, let me show you how this shows up. You get a woman, she's like, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna get outside, I'm gonna go for a walk or run. And then it snows. And she's like, oh, it's snowing. Oh, I'm not gonna do that. Or I'm so stressed. What if it rains tomorrow? Rain or shine, you still go on your walk, right? So stressing about what the weather's going to be like tomorrow does you no good. Commit. We've got two more things, two more keys that I'm going to cover. But if you let the weather determine your power, okay? Hey, Kevin. Oh my gosh. So we've got two people in the house from high school. We got Kevin and Harriet. Hey, Kevin. Kevin and I used to play saxophone together in high school. Oh my gosh, I love this. I might become addicted to this, like connecting with like these people I've not talk to you for a while. All right, so what else is totally outside of your control, and yet you give power to it?
Worrying about the future, what it holds for you.
Yeah, worrying about the future. Now, is that outside of the box or is that inside of the box? I'm going to challenge you here.
It can be both.
It can be both. It can be both. So your ability to worry, are you in control of that or somebody else?
You are.
All right, I'm going to put it back in the box or in the circle. Because here's the deal. Here's the deal. The piece of it you got right, and the piece of it we're going to tweak. The worry piece goes in here. But the future stays out. Can you see the difference? The future, you're right, we don't know what the future holds. It's out of our control, but it's in our influence. It might be in our influence. It might be, right? Like if you're making decisions every day, you can be heading towards a future that is more probable than you not taking those steps. So you can influence your future, but you can't control it, right? The worry piece is all on you. 100% in your control. So we're going to put the worry piece back inside of your domain of control, and we're going to keep the future outside, because the future, you're right, not in your control. All right. Hey, so Kevin's saying, I'm about to go outside with the kids. I'm going to check this video later on. Thank you for this. I just want to let you know that your writing is a mirror image. Fantastic. All right. I love it. All right, let's come up, and then we might circle back to this because this is such a beautiful teaching. I do want to get you the other two keys because it's so important. I also probably want to do some coaching. Does anybody want to do some coaching today? Some love coaching? Give up some love and get yeah, we'll do some coaching. So let's identify one more thing that's on the outside that you're stressing about.
Government.
Totally. But in your sphere of influence, but not your control.
Right.
Definitely. That's a big one, right? That's a big one. So a lot of people are like, what's the government going to do? What's the government? And they're spending time worrying about the government. And what we can do is we can have a voice, right? We can respond, we can influence, we can put our opinion out there, but we can't control what they do. All right. Now, Mary Beth says maybe some businesses with work being unknown and some people being laid off, that's out of our control. You're right. You're right. Some people, I've already had family members. Some people are going to lose their jobs or have already lost their jobs. And the very first thing that we put on our inside of our control, respond. How you respond to it. You might, so I'm going to put out here kind of like your work. How do I put this out? Your job, or your job security. How about that? Your job security. Your job security is out of your control at the end of the day. If somebody else, they choose whether to keep you or to let you go, that's out of your control. That you can influence, you can get creative, you can add value to an organization. But at the end of the day, it's not your decision whether or not they keep you or let you go. But you can influence it. You can influence. And there are going to be people out there right now that do a lot of influencing. And at the end of the day, you influence, and then what's the next step? You let go. You surrender. That's the piece we're not so good at. That's why we started this conversation with a meditation. Letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Okay, some background noise and where that's coming from. I'm just gonna go ahead and mute everybody so that we can get that taken care of. All right. Let's see. Let me see. I'm just trying to think. Let's get one more thing on the outside or inside. One more thing on the outside or inside, and part of your homework as you're engaged in this, I encourage you to do your own investigation of what's in your power, what's in your control, what's out of your control. That way, as soon as you start bringing your energy out here, you call it back. You call your power back. And that's why we're going to do the 2 more keys. If you're not in your power, the other 2 keys aren't going to make any bit of difference to you. You got to stay in your power. All right. Anyone else? I'm going to go ahead and unmute. Anyone else want to put something on the outside or something on the inside? Any more voices in the room? This is the moment. It's so funny. It's like, you know, there are women and men right now that are thinking, I got something to share, but I'm a little nervous. I got something. Oh my gosh, you got another high schooler, Mark Harmon, went to high school with. We haven't chatted for so long. I love this. This is like a Brady One high school reunion going on here. All right.
I was going to say religion.
Religion. Which sphere is that in? Inside or outside?
It can be both, actually.
Yeah, tell me how you're thinking about
based
that.
on your perspective. So you are in control with the churches being closed down, understanding that you don't have to be in the church, inside the building itself, for you to have that relationship with the Father. Beautiful. And then out of control is that, you know, the ability of us not being able to assemble together.
Yeah. So I'm going to put here relationship with God, the Father. And everyone has their interpretation of that. I know we'll have some people like that's also, you and I are in the same alignment. I would say God. Some people might, you know, call it something else. So however you're listening and hearing that, hey, Shawnee Deck, sister in the house from Brady One High School. All right. Yeah, so what's in our sphere of control is our relationship with our spirituality. That's totally in our control. What's out of our control, what you just said, is our ability to gather in the physical. So our ability to go to our house of worship in the physical, to be able to go to church. Right now, our government is saying no, right, to keep us safe. So I'm just going to put out here maybe assembly, right, at least for now. Like once the churches open up again, then you have control to show up or not. But if they're closed, they're closed. So I'm just going to put right now under government assembly. And you ladies and men know what I mean by that. All right. So are you guys starting to get an understanding of what's in your control and what's out of your control, and naming those things that are out of your control, how powerful that is, so that you stop stressing about it? Because so many people are stressing about the things that are outside of their control. Someone just shared, I agree with you about church. I watch weekly mass on YouTube. Fantastic. That's getting creative. I've listened to live stream Michael Beckwith out of LA, and there are just so many, you know, we've got so many spiritual teachers and leaders, and maybe it's time, if your church isn't streaming, find some other people that can influence you. What a beautiful time to find some other leaders that inspire you and uplift you, you know? So yeah, Folate says, I'm not hearing, I just joined. Good day, everyone. So Folate, if you're not hearing, it could be on your side of things, your computer. Far left side, it says mute, and there's a little arrow, and you might need to change where your audio is coming in from. You can also, Folate, call in on one of the numbers that was in the email, or you can check us out on Facebook at DrKelly, which, by the way, if you guys could give us a thumbs up on at DrKelly, we'd love to hit that 1,000 mark, you know, just as a goal of having the ability to have more people find us. So give us a thumbs up if you're on Facebook Live, or jump on Facebook and look up DrKelly Schuh, SCHUH. So, oh yay, Folate, she got through. Yes. All right. So anyway, I want you to continue this at home. This is a powerful exercise to really identify and what is in your control that you've not acknowledged, right? You are a powerful being. It's time you own that. It's time you own that, right? Which is why I wanted to kind of feed this in between our sandwich of the 3 keys, because if you don't get this, you're not going to maximize the other 2 keys. So let's go back. 3 keys to thriving. Number 1, we started off If you're live streaming with us and you joined us late, we started this with a meditation. We started with a meditation, and it's a grounding meditation, and it'll help you just get connected in our community and get your energy more grounded, because right now energy is really kind of chaotic and frantic out there. Our job is to call it right back in and get centered. So what are the other keys? Number 2. So this is a key of the spirit. Okay. And if you have, followed me for any period of time, I'm all about the integration of mind, the Trinity, mind, body, and spirit. Mind, body, and spirit. So you got spirit, we got that handled. We're going to start our mornings connecting into spirit, connecting into God, connecting into ourselves. It's in our control. We either do it or we don't. Okay, and there's no wrong way to do it. You can't mess up. So the second one, since we got spirit, let's go to the second one, which is, let's do the body. So daily movement. Daily movement. That's going to keep you healthy in body. This is a gift. This body is a gift. And there are people on the call that I know have had challenges in the past or currently around their physical body. When your physical body is being challenged, you realize what a gift it is. What a gift it is. And no matter where you are on this journey, daily movement is so important. Okay, what do you do? What do you do? You can do anything you want. Okay, under quarantine, I get this excuse all the time. Oh, if I could, I'll just go to the gym, Dr. Kelly. Fantastic. I love that you go to gyms. But you know what? If you're like me, your gym's closed. So what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and complain that the gym is closed? I can't do my workouts, right? Or are you going to turn inward and say, you know what? Nope. I have the power to choose how I respond to the gym being closed. All right? So, what have I done? Well, I got an email from my gym, which is pretty cool. And they said, look, we know the gym's closed. We want to take care of you guys. And so we've just opened up the live streaming videos to Les Mills' body of work and videos. So I'm like, woo! So yesterday, and this goes into the Transformational Tuesday messaging, which is one of the 3 gifts, I believe, with the coronavirus is the gift of creativity. Creativity. So what did I do? I jumped on Les Mills and I was like, let's get creative. Let's do something I've never done. And so I did body combat. I got me and my daughter in our living room, like doing like punches and jabs and like I don't know. I'm learning all the terms, but what is it? It's where you bring your leg up and cross it over. It's like I can't think of it right now, but I got my daughter doing the videos with me. So engage your children in body movement every day. We all need it. And when we move our body, we get so much benefit from that. First of all, you're going to increase your immunity. Might that be important during this time, right? How are you increasing your immunity? Well, you're getting your heart going. You're getting your lymphatics moving. Your lymphatics are like your blood. It's like your bloodstream, but it's the other part of the blood, and it's directly related to your immunity, right? So you're getting those fluids moving, all right? We also know that it relates to your mental health. It's beautiful to release stress. Again, this is not rocket science. You all know this, but are you doing it? Or are you using your excuses that my gym's closed or I can't? So another friend told me and shared with me the reason why she hadn't been exercising because she was used to doing it with her friend. And so that was just enough as an excuse for her not to go out and do her regular routine. So my husband's like, you want to come say hi, RT?
Sure.
He's like walking around. He's trying to be all quiet. So are you going for a walk?
I am.
And we're talking about exercise.
I am trying to sneak my jacket. I was like sneaking into the room.
And I was like, come on in, right? Look, see, we got the live streamers. We got our community up here. We're having some fun.
Hi, everybody.
We're having some fun on a Friday. So he's going to go work out.
I am.
Yeah. So taking care of that body. I came down yesterday morning, and I could see the look on Richard's face, and he was stressed. He was stressed and feeling the hit of like the reality of what's going on right now. And I was with him, and I gave him a hug. What did I tell you?
Can I speak?
Go ahead. Go
Permission
speak.
to speak.
Permission to speak.
Hello, ladies. How are you? The basement of our home is a vacation rental on Airbnb, and we are like 90% booked, and we've just gotten our butts kicked in cancellations. And it just brought me down. And I literally said, when is our next guest going to come through the door? And literally, Kelly told me, she kicked my butt out the front door.
Because I told you to what?
Go exercise.
I was like, get out of here. Go exercise.
And guess what? I came back, and like 2 hours later, we had a 3-night reservation for people who are here right now for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I said, hallelujah. Thank you, Lord.
Amen.
So keep the faith.
Keep the faith.
We're all in this together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, Sheila. How are you?
Here, we'll unmute for a second.
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, good to see you.
Yeah, exercising is supposed to help you through this. And if you're worried about getting sick, that's what they say is keep your immune system up and work out.
Exactly.
As Kelly says, keep your butt moving.
Keep your body moving.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm out of here. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. And I'll tell you, when he walked back in the room, I had a different man. I really did. It's like getting that blood flow, getting it moving. And did the circumstances change? No. But his ability to respond to that stress, because it's stressful when you're losing your job, you're not getting the income. Like people have real challenges right now, and I get it. It's hitting home, like personally, So it's like I got that. So it's how you respond. So moving your body is foundational. Changing your physiology. There's another training that I do in my community. But it's the 3 things that can change how you feel about anything. And one of the foundational things, ladies, you might be listening, you've reminded this, remember the triad? Some women who've been with me for a period of time, one of the things around the triad is, or one of the triads, I teach many triads, but if you want to change the way you feel, change your physiology, right? Change your physiology. Your physiology is what, the blood moving through your body, what you're doing with your breath, what your muscles are doing. So I know this is simple. It's not rocket science, but are you doing it? There are so many free online workouts right now. And people are in this beautiful space of giving, right? And I love it. I love it. I saw a little piece, Arnold Schwarzenegger was like on his bike. He's like, I'm 70, I think they said 74. I might be wrong about that. And he's like, I'm out there getting my exercise in his accent. And he said, I'm going to be posting free workouts for people. So there is no excuse. And if you don't feel comfortable right now going out there, or you might be in a place you're not allowed to. I've got a friend down in Puerto Rico, and he went for a walk they're quarantined, went for a walk on the beach a couple days ago, and police met him and told him he better get off the beach because they're going to fine him $5,000. So,
wow.
I get it. You might not, wherever you are, you might not, hello, Lynn, men love it. You might not be able to go out and exercise, then work out inside. One of my favorite things to do, like in a half hour, is to do high intensity workouts, HIIT training. And there is someone online on YouTube, and it's called, you go to Livestrong, I think it's livestrong.com, and it's free, high energy, high intensity. Those workouts kick my butt. Even when I'm in peak training mode, I still love a HIIT workout. And Livestrong, if you're new to it, please be mindful of your body, right? Again, that's in your control. Don't push yourself so fast, so hard. Be gentle with yourself. But so number 2 of the 3 keys to thriving during this pandemic, number 1, meditation. Number 2, move your body every day. And that doesn't mean it needs to be a huge workout. It's just get the body going. Do something. Do yoga. Do I'm actually within, I've got a small community that is going through the Lifelong Love Academy this year. And we're still accepting women who want to join us. This is for single women who are committed to love this year. And you might be thinking, well, how the heck do we date during this? Girls, there's so much we can be doing, you know? So anyway, you can still join our Lifelong Love Academy. Reach out to me in the chat box or email me, drkelly@pinktent.com, and we'll get you, see if that's a good fit for you. But anyway, one of the things I did is I challenged these women. Yesterday, I found a 30-day challenge, and it has sit-ups, push-ups, planks, and what's the fourth thing? Sit-up, push-up, and sit-up.
Squats.
And squats. Thank you. We got one of our girls in here. Thank you. Yeah, so we have like upped our challenge, and I think by the end, I forget how many push-ups we're going to be doing, but we're committed to coming out of this stronger. So when it comes to maybe like bikini time to be dating, these women in this group, they're going to be stronger. They're going to be looking fine, right? Because they're using this time to up their game. All right. So commit to yourself right now. Daily exercise. Who's in? Raise your hand. Let's go ahead and unmute everyone. Who's in? Say, I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
All right. All right, ladies, move your body every day. Every day. It can be real simple. So the third thing, so we got spirit. We got body. What might be number 3? Mind, body, spirit. Well, let's take care of the mind. So daily learning. And I say a minimum of 30 minutes. You look at the most successful people on the planet and find out what is one thing that really was different. What do they do differently than other people? And one thing that I see consistently is they're constantly learning. They're reading books, right? They're watching podcasts. They're listening to audiobooks. Hello, Maria Minardi. Oh my gosh, we grew up together. I'm loving this. So glad to see you, Maria. So that third thing is 30 minutes or more every single day of learning. It actually is a human need to learn and grow. And you watch people who may, for example, like people who retire early. One of the things that they will often fall into a depression is because they stop learning and growing. And we all have this ability, like during this quarantine, what are you going to learn new? In fact, I'm having a tough time deciding. I've got so many things. Why? Because in the past, I don't have the time. Now there's no excuse for any of us to learn something new. So what have I learned new since this whole thing began? I'm starting body combat. You know, that's pretty fun. I'm engaging my daughter, so she's moving. I've been listening to some podcasts on relationships. There's this woman that I was listening to yesterday, and she was just fantastic, very strong woman in her 70s. She's a relationship coach, and she was sharing kind of how each and every one of us, we have yin energy and yang energy, and in our partnerships, you know, our partners also have this yin and yang. But when we want polarity, one needs to be holding a little bit more of the yin, and one needs to be holding a little bit more of the yang to get us together, right? And it doesn't mean that like a strong woman, you know, can't access her yin or that she needs to be more feminine. No. It is a matter of being able to dance within ourselves of this yin and yang. And she was sharing how strong women, where they really get in trouble, is if you take a really strong woman and a really strong man, if they stay in that yang energy all the time, then they begin to compete with one another. And that's when it breaks down, right? So it's this ability to be flexible. Now, I know this has nothing to do with what I'm teaching right now. It has everything to do with daily learning. I had never heard that before. It's yin and yang and the ability in partnership to evoke the yin or yang in each other, and the willingness to like go in either direction and to be flexible. All right. So those are some things that I've learned. I'm also dusting off some old Tony Robbins stuff. I love Tony Robbins. I cleaned out my armoire the other day. I told you I've been on the cleaning frenzy. And when I cleaned it out, I got all my Tony Robbins stuff and all my personal growth stuff so organized. And if it just stays organized and I don't access this, it's not gonna do me a whole lot of good. So again, I am engaging. I'm committed to at least 30 minutes a day and to stay on this course outside of this quarantine. I've done it in the past, and I'll tell you, it is so cool when you're learning something new. So that desire to learn a new language that you might have, or learn how to knit. My daughter in this period of time, she's gonna teach me how to knit. My mother taught her how to knit. And I've been a little resistant. I'm like, oh, I don't see myself as a knitter, but why not? Why not? So we're gonna knit together. So I'm gonna unmute the line. I want you to shout out, what are some of the things that you wanna learn during this downtime? Someone just shared, Mary Beth said, if you don't like reading, maybe watch a documentary on TV or YouTube about a topic you've always been curious about. So voices in the room, what are some things that you would like to learn, something new during this time of quarantine, and even once you're out of quarantine?
So Steve's gonna help me learn how to lay tile down in my bathroom.
Yay!
I'm gonna redo my bathroom.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I remember when I laid tile for the first time. I'd never done anything like that. It was with a boyfriend, and I can remember hanging out. It's like crystal clear memory, like visceral memory of we laid tile in our underwear. In my underwear, laying tile down in Texas when I was living in Texas. So that's my kind of memory of laying tile.
That sounds like fun.
Why not? Like, I didn't want to get all that stuff everywhere, right? What else do you want to learn? What else do you want to learn? Go ahead.
Well, at my job, they have a new software program that they're using, Windows 10. It's not new, but it's new to me. So yeah. I'm studying that while I'm home, and they have us clock in and clock out, even though we're not at work. So I'm using that time to, master PowerPoint and Excel. And so when I get back to work, God willing, I'll be ahead of the curve.
Fantastic. Andrea just shared, she said, for short hit and beginner 7-minute home workouts. Fantastic. Great free app. She says, is Johnson & Johnson 7-minute workout? 7-minute workout. I've not heard of that one. And if you're joining us on Facebook Live, if you want to share with us in the chat, in the comments, what are you wanting to learn how to do? We'd love to know and support you. Oh yeah, Lynn says, I want my daughter to teach me how to knit too. Fantastic, right? You're getting double fun with that because you're learning something new and you're connecting with a family member. All right, Maria's signing off. Fantastic. What else? I have, there's, someone in our community that she has something that she needs to learn to be certified to up her potential for promotion. And she's been meaning to do it for a really, really long time. And so now's the time she's going to do it, right? So it's what is maybe even a training if you had a certification in something that in this economy right now could increase your ability to ask for a promotion and to get a new job, right? One more share.
I'm going to up my social media skills.
I love it. Is there any social media platform in particular you want to learn more about?
Probably Instagram. So I'm more so just like a Facebook person. So I haven't ventured into all of those others yet.
Exactly.
It'd be a good time to connect with my 28-year-old daughter who knows all of them.
Awesome. I love it. So yeah, learning a new more social media platform. Sheila just shared that LinkedIn has lots of learning tools, maybe around Instagram and stuff. Yeah, fantastic. Jen's gonna learn how to do a blog. Lynn is also my yoga teacher training has gone online. So she's becoming a yoga instructor, right? I mean, it's amazing. And for so long, many of you have used the excuse. What are the two excuses for most people? I don't have the time, I don't have the money. And a lot of these online trainings are free. So no excuse, no excuse. All right, I want to do some coaching. We know the top 3: meditate daily, daily movement, and daily learning, 30 minutes or more. Okay. Now, what's going to stop you? It's out here. It's out here. Right? And you forget what's in here, your control. All right? So who wants to, and this can be, Andrew just shared something that sounds really cool. It's called Coursera. It's like course, Coursera. It's in the chat line, Coursera.org, that they have classes, great online classes that are offered by major universities all around the world. I also know Masterclass is another great one. And Mind Valley, I just heard, because they were doing so many in-person workshops, is that they are now committed because the founder doesn't want to lay off a bunch of people. So they're going online. They're going to be offering more online classes and also classes for kids. So I'm interested to see what Mind Valley, they're a mindfulness company, what they might come out with. So does anyone want to do some coaching as we wrap up today? Coach around maybe you have high levels of anxiety during this time, or you're wondering if your love life is ever going to change because you're at home right now and quarantined. I can coach you on anything. So does anyone want to receive some coaching? And obviously, if you're joining us Facebook Live, I can't talk with you. So the Facebook Livers will be in listening mode. But let's create a breakthrough for someone today. Who would like to have a breakthrough? I'm going to go and unmute everyone so I can hear you. Who wants a breakthrough?
I'll volunteer.
Alexandra, fantastic. All right. So, what's going on? Tell us a little bit of what's happening for you.
In terms of what? Being here trapped in the house?
Around anything, around any area that you feel like you're really challenged by and you'd like to see and create a breakthrough for yourself, because there's something that's magical, not only with the one-on-one coaching that I can do, that you and I can do together right now, but you've got a group, a community that's going to hold space for you. Shake your head, hold up your hands if you can hold some space, and give her some glitter for some healing today, some healing, some breakthroughs. Yeah. See, you got this whole community. So we're going to 10x the opportunity you have for yourself right now.
Yeah. So I guess breakthrough for me is just really this whole thing, because I before this, I'm in as I share with a few of you, I've been in this reanalyzation. Certain things have happened in life where I've had to, I've been forced to change the way I do things or the way I look at things, and even how I live my life, some health reasons. So because of that, now I'm forced to really reanalyze. And then this happened, which kind of falls into that. And I think it's a lot of mental and spiritual work that has been, I've been really trying to do. And that's why I've incorporated to the, tapping and meditation helps to calm me and deal with a lot of other things that are going on apart from the virus. And I'm quite sure everybody has things that they're, dealing with, but the virus now is taking, it's interesting how that, I've shared with you what has happened, and then the virus comes and that takes priority. So it kind of shifts the perspectives of the different things that we have going on in life,
Yeah.
Whether it's, and then there's that health issue, and then there's the, whether it's financial or relationships or it's money or it's, but health and staying alive, is a top priority right now. So it kind of puts everything else on the bottom burner.
Totally.
So it kind of gives me, I think it gives me an opportunity. From a positive perspective, it gives me an opportunity to look at my life and really and this is one of the things that Sheila shared with me, that gratitude journal, to really every day like focus on gratitude. Like in New York, we're still cold there. Like last night it was 70 and I was sitting drinking tea on the on my front porch. It was
70?
It was 70 yesterday, 71. I mean, today we're back to like 40 something. But like one day of 70 is like just so, just the little things that give me gratitude. I think I'm able to focus on that.
Yeah.
I'm just taking everything one day at a time, because if I look at the overall, it's very, very overwhelming and I feel out of control. So I think for me, it's just like one day at a time. What is it? And like what you said, like I try to put systems into place, but there are moments that I do get overwhelmed and I feel lost, or I feel not in control.
Yes.
And then, dating is another thing, man. But there's Zoom call for dating, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
would you feel comfortable sharing a little bit, any kind of specifics that you would feel comfortable sharing with the community? Because what I'm thinking,
I mean, what happened?
Yeah, like if you don't, that's okay. But
no,
just
I mean,
give
I'm
a little bit of,
sharing.
just to give a little insight. Here's why, if you're open to it, and
Yeah,
again,
I'm open
we
to it.
can choose whatever, is because when we really gather in community and really share what's on our hearts and what's really going on,
Right.
it gives other people insight into where they are, and
Right.
they'll feel like, oh my gosh, I'm also challenged. There's another woman that's challenged, or another woman might be like, oh wow, I feel it just gives people perspective on where they are and what other people are going through. And I think that can be really,
I'm open to it. That's fine. I mean, I'm not I'm a realtor and I drive a lot for work. And so I was driving at 60 miles an hour on the highway, and in the snap of a finger, I lost consciousness. Apparently I was having a seizure driving 60 miles an hour on the highway. So I was in the hospital for a little while, but I really do consider myself lucky, because I came to, and I was on a stretcher and was being put into an ambulance. But I really think it was a miracle I did not have a scratch on me.
it's amazing.
And I did hit somebody, and thank God they're okay. I mean, I hit somebody's car. Thank God they're okay. But I've really reanalyzed my whole life, because now I can't drive. I don't even care about my car. My car is still in the workshop. But so all of a sudden, in a snap of a finger, my whole life just changed. I mean, I jump in my car and I drive. I just jump in my car and I go. And now I'm like, I can't drive. So my job is like, what am I going to do? I'm reanalyzing things. But there's a lot there apart from my job. It's like my whole life has shifted. And even that moment, like I go back to that moment there, and I can get emotional about it, because it's like just driving at 60 miles an hour on the highway and you lose complete consciousness is, it's just, it's insane. It's unbelievable. Yeah. And I mean, I think I've had one seizure episode like years ago, but a few years ago, but it's now really a game changer in my life.
Yeah.
So that happened at the very end of February. So that was very recent.
Yeah.
A few, like 3 weeks ago. So, that's really shifted and then this whole coronavirus thing that took a whole new, so it kind of like, dealing with that, just trying to deal with that daily. In the beginning, it was when it happened and I was home, I think then the reality really set in, and I was having a really hard time with it, or just like dealing with everything and all the changes. But now,
can I stop you for just a moment?
Sure.
Okay. I want everyone to put your hands up if you're on video. And if you're not on video and you're on audio, do it wherever you are. And I do believe that we have the power to help one another heal. So imagine wherever you are, get in touch with your heart. We all have the ability to heal, and send Alexana in the Bronx right now. Send her love. Just imagine the golden light extending around you, just like the beginning of the call. We're all in the forest together. and send her love. And Alexandra, receive this. Open your heart to receive this love and this blessing and this healing. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is that, well, first of all, I knew that story, but I'm sure there are people listening. That is a miracle that you don't have any injuries. 60 miles an hour, she passes out, right? Or has a seizure, passes out. And here you are still, with us, totally capable, right? And then the virus came, and now there's a different perspective, right? Since the virus has come, I'm curious, what has shifted for the positive for you around that? Hello, Junie Moon.
I think in terms of really just focusing on what you can control, because if I go back to the seizure, according to the doctors, I may have another one, but I may never ever have another one.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you could or you couldn't. So I try to really focus, and just in terms of the virus too, on what can I control, and really instead of looking at what I've lost, I try to focus then the beauty, like I'm surrounded by so much love of friends and family and support. And I'm so grateful for that. And I think you look at life through a different lens. You really see, you appreciate it. It's just, everything is a little bit more colorful in terms of appreciation and gratitude. And just I think I told you this, like I came out of a Costco one evening, and the time changed, and I was like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. The moon is out and it's still light. And my son's like, he's like, what's the matter with you? Like, you're talking about it. I go, it's true. Like everything, the lens is so much more, I think I appreciate every day so much more. And you really fully understand about being grateful and appreciating the really good, and being able to see the beauty of what you have to be grateful for in spite of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So everyone listening, listening to Alexandra, it's so funny as I, ask someone to step in and to be a voice in the community. You're teaching us, Alexandra, right here, right now, to remember what's most important, to be grateful. And I hope in everyone slowing down that you are noticing the little things that you can be grateful, for. So I'm curious to create a breakthrough for you today. Pick one area for me. So I heard you say health. I heard you say relationship. I heard you say finances. Like there's a lot of things, right? And when we are in a state of overwhelm, what I know for sure is we're trying to look at everything at once. And in the state of overwhelm, one of the ways to get out of overwhelm is to identify the areas first, which could be triggering you, right? So identify the areas, and then also having the ability to shift the perspective in those areas, or shift the procedure and how you're going about those areas. So can you pick, first of all, identify the areas, because listeners are going to be thinking for themselves. Maybe they have several parts of their life they're stressed out about. What are the main areas currently, if you're just really honest with us, that you're stressed out about?
The main areas?
The main areas.
I would say health and work, so for health, when you talk about learning, one of the things I've been doing is really listen to a lot of podcasts and YouTube videos about the brain and what makes the brain work, and the foods and exercise and how to transform your brain. And it's never something I've ever ventured into. Like, why would you, So I'm learning a lot about the brain and things like that, and what causes, and and really get into spiritual aspect of things in terms of healing yourself, and what can you do to take responsibility to heal yourself. And I'm listening to a lot of videos of that. Also in terms of work, like, here's this challenge of like, where can I go, or where is, can I still do my work? Fortunately, I live a place where I have access to transportation, or, and I have friends. I haven't had to take transportation. I have so many people that have been offering to, they'll drive me here and drive me there. But I think in terms of work, it's made me think, can I do this? How can I do this? Or is there something else that I need to be doing? What is life so I'm trying to look at it from that perspective. But I think the two things that for me is focus is health and my career, my job, whatever brings me that life purpose, that I need to be out there doing.
Beautiful. And so for you, and if you're listening in, I want you to think about the areas of that you're stressed out about, and just write them down. Write them down as like buckets. We have different buckets in our lives. And if we look at it universally, we don't individually have many, different buckets. Like there are main buckets of like the finances, bucket of relationship or the intimate relationship, a bucket for your health, right? Whatever your bucket is, right? So as you sit right now, if you're trying to take it all on all at once, even just identify what buckets of your life, what areas are being challenged. So what I'm hearing, Alexandra, your two buckets are work and health. Work and health. And for you, they kind of intertwine, because your health and not being able to drive, your way of doing business is being forced to shift. And I guarantee there are people listening that your way of making money is being challenged right now, right? Yeah. Here's what I can tell you is I work with a high-end realtor, and she's an amazing leader in her industry. And she said, you know what? We are moving online. Real estate is moving online. So it could be that some of your health challenges, you are in alignment with the way things are going.
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes it's one of my most powerful coaching questions to ask is, in a challenging time, what's great about this? Fantastic question to ask. And so what I'm hearing is, what's great about this for you is that you're looking at your spirituality. You're learning things about the brain that you would have never thought about. You're looking at, what's my highest purpose? Is it as a realtor? Is it not as a realtor? Like, you're asking the right questions, and I'm so proud of you. Okay. So if life is happening for you, not to you, going back to this, right? Why might this be happening for you? If it's a benevolent, loving God and a loving universe, and here you've been challenged, you can't drive again right now, or not even right now. It's been medically, you've been told that it's not a good idea, and makes sense. Like if you could go into a seizure while driving, thank God you're okay. Thank God you're okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I find interesting? It's interesting how the world works. Like I have, I'm home, and then I have, I work, and then I have my social activity. So I pick up and I go. So the few weeks that I was home, like literally don't have a car and I can't pick up and go, I felt so trapped, and I felt so like, I had anxiety being home. And like middle of the day, I would get up and just go for a walk. But I think it's interesting that happened to me. And then this whole coronavirus, so the whole world is going through this with me. I thought that was such an interesting, I'm like, here I was feeling trapped, and now the whole world is.
The whole world is trapped. Yeah, it's
like,
almost like you have playmates now.
Yeah, I was like, wow, it's so interesting that what I experienced before the whole coronavirus, the whole world is experiencing it because of the coronavirus. Isn't that interesting? I was like, well, what does this mean? What is it? So I'm really trying to see it from that higher perspective.
I love that. So you're answering for yourself, like, how is this happening for me?
Yes.
Right.
I really tried to see, and again, I try to look at it as much as sometimes I'm home and I get this anxiety, I just feel trapped. But I realize that I'm surrounded, like, by, whether it's my friend, my friend who's off from work, she's like, oh, you have to meet your client, I'll take you, because she was, she works in the court system. She'll take me, or my son will take me, or my dad would come and pick me up and take me, or my sister would take me, or my cousin would take me, or a friend would take me. And I'm just like valuing that, like how that being surrounded by your circle of people that you're surrounded with, like it's so important. You really, really value that.
Yeah. And if there's a belief that you had before, and you know what you know now, what might be a myth that you held for yourself that now you're breaking down and realizing, wow, that's not so true. So it's something that you thought was true. You've had your experience now, and now you know it's not true. What might that be?
I think certain things limit myself in doing. Like, I really started to think about like what really matters in life, because I think it was Brendan Burchard who always says, like, when he had that when he was, I think, a 20-year-old, that he had a car accident, and he said, did I live, did I love, did I matter, or did I make a difference?
I love those three questions. Yeah, and he wrote the whole book. Did I live? Write this down. I mean, that's good stuff. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter?
And so when I had that accident, I mean, again, thank God I just came out like unscathed. It's just like a miracle. But I was just like life is so short, and like at the end of life, what do I want? Like, what do I want to have known that I made a difference in life? And I want to know that that I lived, and life is about experiences. So I think for me, I think experiences in life, maybe saying yes to more experiences instead of, oh, I can't do this because of that, or, this doesn't look good, or, saying yes to more experiences. I think I love to experience life.
Yeah.
Putting limitations on myself. I would really like to, I can't do this because of that, but like saying yes to more experiences.
Yeah, so that's one of the gifts for you, saying yes to more experiences.
Yeah.
Noticing what matters.
And I think really just like it's like a cliche, like life is short. It's such a cliche, like people say, but then you really understand, like, okay, life is short. So what do I want to do and be? What is my purpose or my meaning? So I think that is all coming to me, and then so I think those things that really matter. I think I'm more in tune with it, more in tune with the question to be able to find the answer.
Totally.
Let the answer come to me instead of like pushing it away.
Yeah, and we know the power of questions. When you ask a question, the brain is like a servant. The brain is like a servant, and it wants to answer the question. So you're asking really empowering questions. Yeah. You can also, many of us do, ask really disempowering questions. My husband gave us a great example on the call earlier today, when he was asking the question, is anyone ever going to walk in that guest suite again? And it was a disempowering question, because it has this, with the energy, has this underlying tone as if no one was going to ever walk in the guest suite again. He went outside, and who's to say like what caused what, or we don't know, but he went outside and he went for a walk, and he began to change his energy, right? And within hours, in the timeline, hello, Cheris, hello, Kimberly, someone booked 3 days in the guest suite. And so it's like asking yourself, are you asking empowering questions or disempowering questions? Because the brain will find a solution for you either way. So yes, so what you're doing right now is really a global question, is how can I do my work more virtually? And think about how many people in the world are asking this question, and you were just a couple weeks ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, seriously.
Seriously. And I have been doing a lot of, every day, like I've been doing Zoom calls for work, or, with work people already. And that's being incorporated now. Absolutely.
All right. Well, you were easy today. It's like coaching. Like, do you, I was hoping like one area, like one little nugget around a breakthrough for you, but can you speak, just to be mindful of time? What's one thing? Because a lot of times we can coach ourselves through conversation, just being in an empowering context of a conversation. What's the one thing that stood out to you today in our conversation that is of benefit to you?
That I think what helps is big for me is that whole circle thing that you did with the control and lack of control. Yeah. That is really huge in like really focusing, because sometimes the overwhelmingness comes from when you focus on being out of control. So I think myself with how much TV I watch, because I sit there and I can start panicking. Yeah. But I think if I focus on like in the circle of what I can control, that makes me feel more at peace and gives you something to do, and even the routine, you know, like I think routine helps, like that you wake up and do that meditation or exercise or work or read a book, or it really is very, very helpful for me. Yes, absolutely.
The three things, yes. And here's what we all want. It's a human need. The human need is that we all need certainty. We all need it. Yes. And right now it is requiring us to really go in that sphere of what we can control, what we can have certainty. And these three things I outlined today can provide that structure of certainty. So your brain goes, okay, it's another day. I know three things I'm going to do, right? And allow that to lean into that. Yeah. Lean into that structure. Beautiful structure and what you can control.
Yes.
So thank you, Alexana.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely. So, you know, I want to share with all of you during these times, I'm going to be reaching out more and just doing little sessions like this. So stay on the lookout. Be sure on Facebook, DrKelly Shu, at DrKelly Shu, to go ahead and like the page so that we can have people really engaged in community and connection. We need each other right now. We really, really do. So I'm also going to encourage you to do your 3 steps every single day and keep your power center engaged. Those are 3 things that I know that'll help so many of you. And then lastly, I do want to share is we still are inviting women into our Lifelong Love Academy. I see some women on the call right now that are a part of that community. And I want to invite you in if you are a single woman that you really want love and you want lasting love. You're looking for the long-term monogamous relationship. This year-long program will give you that skill set. And while we're all quarantined, we're doing self-love. We're doing some of that internal work that needs to be done to prepare you for that when the quarantine opens up, that you're out there more and engaging and finding love, giving that skill set. If that sounds like something that interests you, please reach out to me, DrKelly at pinktent.com. You can find a time to chat and make that available to you. I am confident. I'm already watching the growth of these women in our group, and it's very intimate and very small, which has many benefits. So these women are really getting an opportunity to get coached and learn some foundational skills that will last them for a lifetime. Because at the end of the day, what I think is most important in life is love. At the end of the day, when we ask the question, what matters most? For me, the answer is love. Like loving myself, loving my family, loving my friends, loving my community. Like for me, that's what makes the world go round. So all of my teachings are centered around that space of love. And I love each and every one of you dearly. And I know that my job on the planet is to help women get more in touch with that love that is there, and so that you can be your radiant self. So that's it for today. Also, feel free in the comments, if you want to jump on Facebook, let me know what do you want to learn more about, that I could maybe teach and facilitate, so I can respond to your requests. So please do share, and thank you for gathering this on this beautiful Saturday morning, and go out there and learn something new. So signing off, ladies. Let's go ahead before we all sign off. Go ahead and bring your hands up. I'm going to unmute you, and let's say to everyone, say, I love you. Ready?
I love you.
I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye, ladies.
Bye.